Yeah. So again, it is always a pleasure to listen to Professor Timalsina. Was thinking about the symbolic aspect of in this philosophy. Like we have various goddesses in the Shakta philosophy and in other Hinduistic philosophies as well. Now, I have heard in some lectures that they have a philosophical point. Like in case of goddess Kali, we call her Kali because we call time as Kala, which means black, because we cannot see time. So since because we cannot see that supreme reality, we call her as Kali. And all the form of Kali that we imagine or we see has philosophical basis, like her four hands, they represent something else, and she is standing on Shiva, which means the Shiva is the passive Brahman, and goddess Kali is the active nature, projection of the active nature, Maya, in the viewpoint of the Veda. But my question is that in all the cases, be it Advaita or in case of Dvaita or Vishishta Advaita, the goddesses or the devas that we see, they have a kind of form. So is this form, is this symbol of the form, do they just flash in the mind of the rishis or the sadhakas, or do they have a philosophical or I mean, do they imagine the form to explain a certain philosophical fact? So are these forms real? I mean, are these forms really they see in front of them in their minds, or are they are just constructs to explain a deeper philosophical understanding? So that is my question to Professor Timalsina, sir.
This is a tough question, Apratim. This is early morning for me. Be merciful. Anyway, this is both actually. When great rishis go to deep states of meditation, in the state of Pashyanti, when the form and the sound collide, the sound starts appearing as form. That is where Vats becomes Artha, Artha becomes Vats. There is no distinction between the form and the speech, the manifest world and the phonemes. And when meditation goes to that depth, spontaneously forms start coagulating. That is also the case in dreaming. Even in dreaming, when we go to that deep state and our thoughts dissolve, and then the language starts taking shape, imagery starts appearing. The only problem with the dream is then we do not have autonomy over the dream objects, and we become the victim of our own dreams, fantasies. We fall for it. In visualization, because of the purity of the mind, when rishis go to the deep sleep mode type state called samadhi, that is where they go into pashyanti. This state itself is called self-seeing. In the medical term, it will be synesthesia. So I know synesthesia is some kind of medical condition today. Some people have it, where they hear the sound and they see the form instead of hearing the sound. They jumble together, sound and form. But if this is because of some neural disruption, the meditative state I'm talking about is not due to neural disruption, but actually going deeper to before the division of the tasks for different neural activities, like for checking, interpreting shape, interpreting color, interpreting sound, when the programming beneath the programming happens. That is number one. But then when the yogi comes out of this meditative state, mostly those forms dissolve and they are forgotten. But some of them are captured depending on the intensity. For that we call Purascharana. That is why I put my students who come to practice do Purascharana, and then I'll teach you anything more. And they get scared and run away. What a relief. But the idea is it is a waste of time to talk about these things and not try to bring them to personal experience. But then when one has repeated it to so many times, then the forms become stable. And then when you come out of meditative states, those forms become stable and you can remember. But then there is also a cognitive, of course, it's also a cognitive process, but this is beyond our conscious, subjectively manipulated, controlled processes. But then there are other conscious cognitive processes wherein we recognize one form, we encounter another form, and then we blend those two seed mantras. And we see what happens when you keep repeating by blending these two different phonemes. And then we get the jumbled imagery. It is when you blend so many phonemes and then the complex imagery like the one behind me comes. For plain images, you have less phonemes, less shorter mantras. And so there is on one hand, the first imagery are coming directly from meditative states. And the second, when different images come by different phonemes, these different phonemes are integrated by the practitioners. Different bija or different kutas are recited. Kuta is like even more complex. Like when you have 7, 9, 12 phonemes jumbled together, we call them kuta. When so many phonemes jumble together, and then you go deep down to meditation and you encounter that. Sometimes you see something else too. Then you have to train your mind again. Then for the first encounter is difficult which one to rely, and then to rely on that you go and verify. Every time you go and meditation, the same imagery arises, that is a valid image. And multiple people start reporting the rise of the same image, that is again intersubjectively verified, but not external object. It's a mental imagery.
Yep.
But then when these fake imagery fantasies come, and they come and go, they do not stick like you do not go to same dream time again, so dream lines change like that. Even in meditative states, whatever some imagery come, then dissolve, and they are not to be trusted. So you have to seek for retaining the same image. Image visualization used to be a big part of tantric sadhana. What happened is we just thought that we need to get rid of these images to be civilized, because people who do not worship images, they convinced many of us that maybe we are backward by accepting images. Actually, one big Swami came to my house several years ago, and he was literally offended seeing the Kali image in my house. And I have invited many Christian priests, and at least nobody has said they were offended or anything. So we have created within the Hindu world a type of delusion that somehow recognizing goddesses, recognizing imagery, recognizing Kali in particular, compromises us. But to tell you the truth, I have taught in America for more than 2 decades. I haven't met a single student who is not intrigued or curious to learn more about Kali. So she has this magnetic power. People want, who is this woman? Why does she look crazy? And then the more we start telling them, it at least shocks them. And then you can just need to be there to explain what the philosophy is behind, and rather than going into this is what it is, and you can't ask anything about it, and then that is a wrong attitude. We have to explain it to them, and for that we need to do some reading. Thank you, Apratim.
Thank you so much. This is wonderful.